Hello and welcome to another episode of A Coffee with Chris, the social media show that helps you create impact. As always, brought to you in association with our charity partners, Big C, who help local people affected by cancer, and Blue Bear Coffee, that help you change your business's coffee to help children that have experienced human trafficking. Today, I have been sipping too much, I might say, on the 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗲𝗵𝗲, and I'm overflowing now with energy. That's what Blue Bear Coffee does. And also, this podcast is proudly supported by Oliver Hill of Hill Coaching Company, Limitless Film and Media, Mindset HR, and Wingfield Consultants. Now, let's welcome today's guest. I'm super pumped to bring in an American guest today, which I'm always excited about. She's the founder and CEO of KenKay Marketing, host of 3 podcasts, speaker, and a 2-time international best-selling co-author, Vicki O'Neill. KenKay Marketing are a video marketing service for companies that want to scale. Vicki, let's, as always on this show, kick off with the why. Why do businesses need to stop sleeping on YouTube if they want to scale?
Oh my gosh, such a great question. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure. With YouTube, it's time to stop sleeping on it because it is the place to be. Right now, YouTube is actually pushing newer channels and smaller channels out to more people. So even if you have an existing channel and you want to scale your brand, you can do that on YouTube effortlessly. So unlike LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all the other social media platforms where you have to constantly be churning out content, right? Every day, you got to keep up with the algorithm. And if you look at any posts that are still in your feed, they're going to be within the last 12 hours, last 24 hours. So your content has a very short shelf life on all social media. YouTube, on the other hand, if you make a good video, one that is relevant to your audience and it provides value, it's engaging, which we all do, especially you. Just having your video podcast is amazing. Great. That's really what's required. And once you post 1 video a week, you're not required to engage in other videos beforehand and post and then engage some more in other videos. You post your video and then you let the algorithm do its work. So it's essentially you're creating a video, putting it out there, and now you've got somebody else essentially marketing it for you on that platform twice because they're owned by Google.
Magic.
So it's very powerful.
Yes. I mean, you are preaching to converted, Vicki, but I know that a lot of my community and audience still aren't fulfilling their latent potential with regards to their online presence, particularly with YouTube. So many people still don't have a channel. I love what you've said about the fact that they're actually pushing new channels and fresh video content. People that haven't done stuff there before. I can't wait to get deeper into this conversation. I love the fact that you've said as well that, you know, a good video is a good video. You don't have to play this kind of game, essentially. You can just start today and be successful on YouTube. And I think that will be a relief to business leaders and marketers that are watching going, oh no, not another channel to handle. I can't do this anymore. YouTube is a really, really great place to be.
I do want to preface too on the good video, because I don't want that to scare people away from saying, well, I don't know how to make a good video. And if you've looked at videos like a year ago from today, you know, those types of videos were very overproduced. There was a lot of editing, a lot of movement, like all the things that as someone new coming in might very well look at that and be like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know where to begin. And I can understand that kind of scaring people off. But in today, and even like the influencers that are major, except for, you know, like a Mr. Beast type person, they have scaled way back on their editing. So a lot of them right now, if they're building their brand, they're just like what you and I are doing right now. They're talking to camera. So, and it's very little editing, very little cuts. So if you're saying you know, keep them in there. So I would say if that's the thing, like good videos, it's more or less like the quality of the information that you're sharing, not the quality of the video itself.
Amazing wisdom to kick us off, Vicki. Is it also true as well that we're in a place now with YouTube where we're moving away from you can only be successful if you've got hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers, right? You don't have to have as many subscribers to get loads of views on a single video now. Is that true?
That's 100% true. In fact, a lot of people look at YouTube and say, okay, the only way I can be successful is to be in like the YouTube partner program, where you have the AdSense, you get paid by YouTube to actually post videos, which is only one of so many different ways to make money on YouTube. In fact, you could start a channel today, post a video today, and if you position it so that you've got a link where people, it's like a lead magnet essentially, that's one way that you can just automatically start generating business, revenue and sales into your business with one video. You don't need the YouTube partner program. That's just like an added bonus of being on YouTube. That's something that kind of comes with time, but you could start making money with your videos. And just think about that. You create a video, even if it's your very first video, you do the messaging right. You got the lead magnet tied into it. You post it, and I'm still getting views and engagement on videos I posted 4 years ago. So if you post one video with that type of value and that type of like click through, you could continue to get leads that convert to sales months, years from now. So then you start doing videos and you start compounding the time and what you can actually get from those videos in regards to sales and exposure, visibility, views, subscribers. Like, it just starts to build, but you can't get any of that if you don't start.
I'm so pleased that you've said that at the end there, if you don't start. And I want to now maybe give people some starting steps, if you don't mind, Vicki. Like, one of the main reasons, well, actually, the truth is the whole reason I wanted to get you on is I'm seeing everywhere on your LinkedIn that you've got this blueprint to help people get to 100,000 views on YouTube. So for those people that are just starting out, they want to start a channel for themselves, for their, to become a key person of influence in their sector, or grow a personal brand, or they're a small business, or they're a charity, or whoever they are. How do they get from zero to hero on YouTube?
Great question. So first things first, they have to create a channel, and that is very easy to do. You don't need to pay anybody to do it. It's not a program that you have to invest in. As long as you have a Gmail account, if not, create one, just a generic one. If it's for your business, just use like your business name at gmail.com. You're good to go. So you create a channel and have your banner, have a channel name, just research it. In fact, I did a video on this recently on my channel, where I'm just like, how to determine what your profile or your channel name should be. Should you go with your name, or should you go with a company name? And it's going to depend on what you're trying to accomplish. So if you're an actual company and you're going to have different people on camera, or you're going to be doing interviews and it's for the, clients or people you want to bring in as clients. So you have to think through what your overall strategy is and what your goal is of your channel, and create it then. The thing is that once you've created it, you can change it. So you don't have to worry about, if you're like, like right now, I'm like, my channel is Vicki O'Neill, but maybe next year at this time, I'm like, I want to change it to KenKay Marketing, because now I've got a team of people and they're going to be also on camera and representing the company. I can now change Vicki O'Neill to KenKay Marketing.
Amazing.
So there's a time frame in which you can do that, and you have 14 days to determine if you want to change it back or make it permanent. So they're very lenient about that. So there's some strategy that goes into that, but just research it, make sure your channel name's available, and then just know that you're not like, stuck forever with that name if you want to change it at some point. Make sure you have your about section filled out, because that's part of the optimization. And then have a link, whatever you want to be promoting, or whatever your main call to action is going to be. There's a place where you can put like all kinds of links, but keep it super simple. If you give too many options, as we all know, people will do nothing. So if you want to increase conversions or chances for conversions, just have one link, and then start posting your videos. And there's a whole structure and way to optimize how you create your videos. And that's like, we could create a course on that. But that's how you start. Create your channel and then start creating your videos.
I think that's great, Vicki. And I'd encourage anyone to go connect with Vicki, learn more about all of her content, what she's talking about, because there is so much to share with regards to how to get from that zero to hero, how to get to 100K views. It's not easy, but at the same time, I personally think that with Vicki's steps and her blueprint, you could absolutely get there. I want to throw something at you now, Vicki. So get ready. YouTube shorts. Talk to me. Yes or no? And also, what's your take on this battle between this kind of short form TikTokification of YouTube and the long form content that we're seeing on the platform as well? Is there a balance? What's best for a business?
Yeah, so YouTube Shorts has gone through different iterations since they introduced it originally. So when it was introduced originally, creators thought, hey, I can just incorporate those into my main channel. And then they started seeing that the impact the shorts were having on their other videos, their long form videos, was negative. So then they decided to create a separate channel. Then YouTube decided like, hey, no, you can put them in there. Now they're saying, no, keep them in a separate channel.
Oh, okay.
So I would say if you're not sure which direction you want to go, if you're just not sure if you can maintain consistency with your long form videos, which are the horizontal videos that I always say they're longer than 5 minutes, but if you can make them longer than 8 minutes, that gives you the option when you get into or apply for the YouTube Partner Program that you can monetize those videos. So your videos have to be at least 8 minutes long in order to monetize them. So 5-minute videos wouldn't be eligible for that. So I would just say, look at it and say, do you want to just do short clips, which YouTube Shorts now are up to 3 minutes. I don't know. Do you know that? Okay. So YouTube Shorts can be up to 3 minutes, which are the vertical videos, kind of like Instagram Reels and TikTok. So just, I would say right now, in this point in time when we're recording this, that is what is being said by the YouTube, gurus, to have a separate channel for your YouTube Shorts. So before you get started, determine what type of videos that you want to create. And if you know you're going to be doing interviews, then obviously they're going to be longer form videos. If you want to just create like short clips that are tips, or you're going to demonstrate how, if you're a company that, creates, I'm just thinking of a company I used to work for. It's a manufacturing company. They created big pipes that go underground for, water and flow and all that stuff. If you're going to be creating clips like that, then, just kind of think through what are those clips going to look like. So put some thought into it ahead of time before you actually move forward. And if you want to do both, then just know ahead of time what you're getting into. You might feel like it's double the work, but what's the gain to that? Are you reaching two completely different audiences? Yes, because the way that they're sent out through the algorithm is they're two completely different algorithms. So you would be reaching those audiences, but it might feel like you have more work there, unless you break up one video into clips and make it super simple.
Preach, with you. Amazing stuff, Vicki. We should probably remind people now watching back or listening back that the broadcast date on this is the 4th of February 2025. Of course, the wonderful world of social media means that whatever we say today might completely change tomorrow. But as of this today, it's relevant, it's current information.
Yes.
Vicki, one of the things that's pretty obvious straight away from our conversation, in relatively short time knowing each other, is that you're really confident in front of camera. Now, this is something that doesn't come naturally to people, but it's essential, really, isn't it? On YouTube, you really need to kind of get confident on camera, getting that face everywhere in these digital universes. How did you start your journey with that, Vicki? And what would be your advice that you would share to other business leaders that are yet to take that jump?
Yeah, and actually, it surprises people when I tell them that I'm an introvert and that I used to be extremely shy.
Wow. Okay.
We're talking like when I was younger, like so shy that if someone looked at me, I would cry and run behind my mother.
Wow.
So we're talking
a secret.
Yeah. So it was like, an extreme. But the thing is that you really have to look at it from the perspective of what are you doing it for? Like, what is your why? If you're working for a company and it's not your brand, you really need to make sure that you're invested in that reason, because it's not you, this is your brand. I've got my brand. So really look at the reason why you're doing it, and that you're not going to be comfortable and confident with your first video. It's not going to happen. You can go back and look at my video on my channel, my very first video. And I tell people this all the time. It's so, when I think back of like what it took to create this video, it was crazy. It's 1 minute, 20 seconds, no editing, except I think I clipped the beginning and ending of it. But it took me like literally almost all day.
Wow.
The perfectionism, the anxiety, the, trying to make sure my background, and it's a crappy video. It is. And I encourage everyone that I work with, if they have never been on camera before and they're like resistant to being on camera, they don't feel confident. That's normal. It's okay. The only way you're going to get confident is to actually get on camera, create the video, and nobody says you have to post it. If you don't like it, delete it and move on. Try it again tomorrow. So do what's comfortable with you. But I would say don't wait until you think it's perfect, because it's never going to be perfect.
Okay, I like that, Vicki. And what's your thoughts and opinions on scripts, on words, on speaking? How can one get confident within the words that they're sharing? And how have you become so relaxed yet informative with your conversation style on camera?
It comes with practice. Plain and simple. But what I've done really is I've tried different things. Is that at first, like that very first video I created a script. And that was part of like what was creating my anxiety throughout that entire day, though, because I'm like, I've got to get this perfect. I missed a word. Oh my gosh. And I was just like, oh, I'm the insanity.
Yeah.
But, if that's what you need to get started, just don't do it for very long, because you don't want to use it as a crutch. I don't like people using teleprompters, because it tends to take away the natural you, and you become too focused on the words instead of the message and the value and the people who are watching your video and the reason why they've chosen you. They've got time too, and they've chosen to invest it in watching you. So being as authentic as possible. But the best way to do it is, I've had water on this, but if you have a little Post-it note, literally, this is all you need.
Love that.
So you need to have your hook, what your, 2 to 3 talking points are. There you go. That's all you need. So everything you need for a video should fit on here, so that you can glance at it and move on to the next thing. So just keep it simple.
Yeah, I like that, Vicki, and I'm actually pleased that you've said that, because that's what I do. So I'm relieved to hear that I'm on the right wavelength too. When I first started on YouTube doing video content, getting in front of camera, I used to write out absolutely every single little word. And now I'll be honest, so what I'm looking at on my right hand side is my questions for you, right? But they're headlines. Yeah. And so what comes from my gut, within the instinct, within the moment and the emotion, like that's what's right. And I think that people are so caught up in the ums and the buts and the oh, I messed up my words and stuff. Just say like, hey, I messed up that word, but like, we're all human, right? And that's it is a mindset game, YouTube, to a certain degree, isn't it, Vicki?
It is, to a certain degree. I would agree with that. And I would encourage people as well. You can go back and look at a video I did last week or 2 weeks ago, and you watch it, and I've intentionally left mess ups in there. I was editing the video, and I very easily could have edited a piece out, but I may have said like, okay, and I just left it in, because I'm like, I want people to understand that it doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be conversational. You need to be able to say something that like welcomes people into your world, and bringing them in and creating that connection with people. People aren't going to YouTube to say, how can I find a perfect video about starting a podcast? They don't care that it's perfect. They just want to learn how it is, who's done it, show me that it's possible, what are the tools. So just give them what they need, and then let them practice and build up their own, voice and their own brand, and do it in their own way. Yes.
Brilliant. I think that, there's so many directions we can go. Vicki, what I want to do now, though, is I want to move across to, I guess, optimizing. And I know you've already mentioned that as well. And that's a word that some people be like, oh, I don't really know what that means. So is it true that YouTube essentially almost has SEO within it now? And what you put in the descriptions, in the titles, in the various information that you can, that can really boost your profile and increase your views. Is that right? And if so, how do you improve your YouTube SEO?
Yeah, optimization, or the SEO of your videos, is in different places. I actually created a video about this too, but there's, I can think of 9, just off the top of my head, 9 different places with every single video that you can optimize it. And we're talking about starting with the file name, which you have to do before you upload it, because once you've uploaded it, you can't change it.
Right.
And it may not have that big of an impact, but it's just, how can I maximize the number of places that I can optimize my video.
Yeah.
So it's looking at what are the 1 to 2 keywords that you're wanting to use to get that video out into the hands of people who need to see it. So, optimizing it through the file name, your thumbnail, your title, what you say in your video, which is why I put so much emphasis on planning out your videos, which is going back to your question earlier, Chris, about like building up confidence and should you use a script? It really comes down to planning your videos. What are you saying? Making sure that the keywords that you want to be optimized for that particular video are in what you're saying. Text on screen, in your description, your hashtags, your tags, your chapters. If you're going to create chapters, if you've ever, I was telling somebody this last week, I was actually doing a podcast interview, and we were going through all the different places for optimization. And so I had just created, I had done a search that day, and I was searching for, are you familiar with how to do, now I can't think of what it's called. Like I was doing a video that I posted on LinkedIn last week where I had me as 2 different characters side by side.
Yeah.
Masking. Yeah.
With you. Yeah.
So I was just like, I've done this before, but I don't want to spend time on my, editing, trying to figure it out. So I just searched for it. Well, the first thing that came up was a long video, but because it had chapters in it, which if you've ever looked at a video for anybody who's listening, it has the little hashes at the bottom. And it's like, if you hover over them, they've got different words. So those are optimizing opportunities. But in this example, I had searched for, how to, do that feature. I just lost the track. Masking. How do you mask with 2 characters? And so the video came up and I didn't have to watch the whole video. It automatically highlighted that section of the video. And when I clicked on it, it only played that portion of the video. So as a user or a viewer, and I did that on Google, not YouTube. So somebody who's like viewing this video, and you have to think of it from whoever's watching this, if you've got a video out there and you've got your chapters in there, what are those chapters going to be? You're talking about 3 different tips, 5 different ways, whatever it is. And then what is that experience like for the viewer? So for me, it was very helpful. He gave me exactly what I needed. So then I'm like, cool, let me see what else he's sharing.
Yes.
So you're watching this and you're like, your clients, potential clients are saying, oh, what else is he or she saying? So that's why I put so much emphasis on planning your videos, where most people think that the majority of their time's on camera and editing. But if you do all the planning up front, the amount of time you spend on your camera is less, and then you have less editing.
That is so smart. There's so many good bits of value in there, Vicki. I love the file name point. I think so many people aren't thinking about that. The chapters, I bet you so many people still aren't adding chapters in. I think that's absolute gold. Essentially, any way that YouTube asks you to input information, you should try to give it the information that it needs, right? And you referred earlier, Vicki, to the fact that Google and YouTube are with each other, right? And so therefore, you need to be thinking about your actual Google rankings too, and how your videos will rank really quite high up in Google. So it's so important to do that. Yeah, we're so passionate about speeding up the process between prospect and customer, prospect and client. We always talk about this, Vicki, right? And that's what social's for. So stop making it difficult for people. Make it easier by adding in chapters and things, right?
Exactly. It's an extra step. So I can see why people are, and I don't do it on all my videos. So I'm going to confess right now, I don't do it 100%. But am I missing opportunities? I am. I just need to go back and do it.
With you. What about titles, Vicki? Because everyone talks about thumbnails. I think people have got a pretty good idea now of what a good thumbnail looks like on YouTube. But I want to ask you specifically about titles. What's the trick with YouTube titles?
I say put time and effort into researching your titles and the way that you can do this. So you mentioned thumbnails too. So I want to mention the importance of those 2 things working together. We're visual beings, right? So when we search, the first thing that we're looking at is the thumbnail. So when you're creating your thumbnail, it needs to capture attention. Then they're going to look at the title. So if the thumbnail is checking that box and saying, all right, that sounds interesting, it's what I'm looking for, they're going to look at the title now to determine whether or not they're actually going to click on it. So the title, what I tell people to do and how I work with my clients is that go into YouTube and whatever you want that video to be about. And I don't know why I keep using this example like everywhere. I have no interest in doing this, but now I might have to start a channel where I'm like, how to grow an in-home garden. And I'm just like, I don't know. So I was using this in one of my tutorials too, one of my videos that I've got on YouTube. And so if you're, you're getting ready to start an in-home garden, you have no clue where to start. Like, how big should it be? Where should it be in my house? How much sunlight? So all that stuff. So if that's something that you're wanting to do, then just go to YouTube and say, how do I start an in-home garden? And then you look at everything. There's a filter in there too. I always tell people to filter it within the last 12 months because that's going to be more recent, searches and views and subscribers. So then just scroll through the results and look at the thumbnails, look at the titles, and then take it a step further. And if you look at the number of views on a video, if it's higher than the number of subscribers on that channel, that is a video that you want to look at. You want to look at that title, and you want to either use that same title, if there's something additional, if it's just like how to grow an in-home garden, maybe you want to say how to grow an in-home garden for beginners or for first timers or something like that. Add your own little piece to it, but keep the majority of the title because it's already working. It's proven to be working. And then taking it to the next step, you've got the thumbnail, the title. The next component to the packaging of your YouTube videos is the third part, which is the hook. So within the first 15 to 30 seconds of a long form video, it's 3 to 5 seconds on a YouTube short, but in the first 15 to 30 seconds of a long form video, you need to deliver on the promise that you had in the title and the thumbnail.
With you.
So it needs to be quick. It needs to be the point, and then you move on. Like, it's no, hey, it's Vicki. Welcome back to my channel. If you're here for no one cares. No one cares about that. It's me. No one cares.
They want the value.
They're there for the information and the information only. And the only reason why they're clicking on that video is because you told them it was, going to talk about this thing. Here's how, and now you're following through with the promise, and then they're going to continue watching the video. So it's like thought.
I love that. I think the overarching advice here is that you actually need to do some more research, and that's fair. It's not necessarily easy, as I've said at the top.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what, Vicki? I've learned something from you today. I think I'm going to change my podcast show notes, and I'm not going to start. Sorry, sponsors. I'm not going to start with you. I'm going to start with the guest and the value. Then I'm going to do the sponsors. I think that's going to help me with more views on YouTube. So thank you, Vicki. I'm going to give you a bit of a ranting opportunity now, Vicki. So feel free to do that. What are your biggest YouTube icks? What are the things you look at on YouTube when a business does it and you think, oh, why have you done that? That's so awful. It's not helping your reputation. It's not going to work. What are those things so that other business people can avoid these YouTube traps?
Yes. So great question. And I've seen this recently with various different, within the last week, actually more so. The biggest thing that I see as an opportunity, which is an ick, it's something I'm just like, why are you doing this? It is the thumbnails. So if I look at a video, so I've researched some channels recently, and I go to their channel and their thumbnails are different colors. They've got the same like logo that you can't read. And I was looking at it on my big screen over here, and I couldn't tell what it was. So essentially it's the thumbnails. They're not legible, and you have to take it a step further and say, what's that going to look like on the phone, which is where most people are watching videos. And again, going back to what we talked about before, thumbnails are the most important thing.
Yeah.
So if your thumbnail sucks, excuse my language, they're not going to look at the title, they're not going to look at the video, and therefore your video is useless. To be just blatant right there without, sugarcoating it here at all.
No, I love it. I think it's really valuable. It's so important. You've got to focus on your thumbnails.
Yeah.
I'll be fairly punching forward now. It doesn't cost that much of an investment to hire a designer, or hey, get good at using Canva and do something engaging that's going to work. Should people avoid using their logos on the thumbnails as well, Vicki? Is there something in that? Because we've seen recently Instagram have come out saying that if you use branded elements within your content, it's going to penalize you in the algorithm for that. Is that the same on YouTube?
No.
Oh, okay, great. So you can use
it's not. Yeah. So there's so the design components of your thumbnail play in a little bit. They're not going to like, you know, if it doesn't look attractive, it may impact the algorithm and getting it out to more people. But so the design components for YouTube thumbnail are to have a face. If it's, you know, your channel, you know, have your face. If it's like you and I are interviewing, then I would put both of our faces on there, like over to the right.
Yeah.
And then on the left-hand side, I would put, you know, 2, 3, 4 words maximum that are going to create intrigue. It's going to help close the gap between where I'm at and where I want to be. And then have an object someplace. So if you want that to be your logo, then don't make it big because, again, nobody cares. You just want to create that visual component that if somebody's looking at search results, there's some consistencies there with, you know, this is Chris's show. This is Chris here. Oh, Chris is talking to this person. Oh, hey, here's Chris and somebody else. So you're creating that branding consistency that people are going to start to recognize that when they watch one of your videos and they're like, hey, I like Chris. He's got great content. They may like your video, but they haven't subscribed yet. Yes. And now they're looking at, oh, hey, here's another video and suggested by Chris. Let's check that out. But there have to be those consistencies. But if you're using, let's just say for simplicity purposes, you're using a bunch of flowers over here. And then over here, you've got computers. And then over here, you're using black. And over here, you're using pink. Like there's no consistency. Like there's nothing that's going to tie your brand together. So if you want to use your logo, I would say keep it small and then put it in one consistent place, like bottom left corner.
Absolutely outstanding. So much knowledge shared, Vicki. I wish that we could spend more time today. We'll definitely have to do a round 2. Vicki, where can people learn more about YouTube? Where can they do business with you?
They can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's the best place to go. Just send me a DM and say that you found me through Chris's show. Always like to know how people connect with me. And then I do have a link on my profile as well that if anybody wants my 1,000 view blueprint, which is a 5-step strategy that I use to get to now over 100,000 views, it is there for them to download. It's free. And then that will connect us and we can stay connected that way.
Vicki, amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you broadcasting all the way from America. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love this conversation and you're an amazing host. So thank you so much.
Oh, bless you. You're the first person to say that. Thank you very much. Thank you also to those of you listening and watching back. I really, really appreciate it. As always, do let us know your thoughts, feelings and feedback in the social media comments. Feel free to tag myself, tag Vicki. I'm sure that she'll help you in any way she can with the time that she's got. And likewise myself too, with the wonderful world of YouTube. You need to take advantage. Guys, thanks once again for tuning into A Coffee with Chris. And I will see you this time next week for another episode.